to repair broken family relationships? How do you forgive that family member who wronged you? And how do you even begin to mend that broken relationship? And we're focusing on family relationships because heartbreak that is caused by a family member is often seen as hard to forgive, hard to mend. We often see family as our shield and safe haven. And that is why when a family member wrongs you, that devastates you. And while forgiving a family member who's wronged you can be a challenging thing, it can be a challenging emotional process, in fact, it can also be a powerful step towards healing and rebuilding your relationship. So I want to know from you at 11 o'clock, if you have a family member who wronged you in some way, who violated you maybe, and you're just struggling to forgive them, what do they do? And why is it so hard to forgive them? And do they ask for forgiveness? That's a conversation we're going to have on our Family Matters feature at 11 o'clock. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Maniatella, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Morning, Clement. I'm a chief supporter, Baba. Don't come up with those tricks here. Nikiwe praska kohlwa. Ipagania ilewe. Please, Clement. Let us talk about Sundowns and Pirates game. Please. Papa here from Lenesia. Great show, Baba.
What was the score, Abel? 4-1, yeah. Guys, listen, I mean, I won't stop you from talking about it. I'm just saying that that's old news. Like, we've moved on from that. It happened this past weekend. Yeah. Idlulile. Can we move on? Whoever won. Whoever lost. No?
Morning, Clement, and a productive week ahead. But Clement, be fair, man. Last week, if you remember very well, you started your show in a different way. There was clapping, there was singing, there was all-around happiness because of a certain team from Orlando had beaten a small team called Kaizer Chiefs. Well, guess what? You met us this past Saturday and we thrashed you. Congratulations, Sundowns, please. PK Pretoria.
Okay. Abel, just give them the clap. Congratulations, Sundowns, for beating Pirates 4-1. It's 15 minutes after 9.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Maniatella.
on 702.
Okay, so we now have an executive order issued against our country, an executive order whose foundational premise lacks factual accuracy and just simply fails to recognize and acknowledge the country's painful history of colonialism and apartheid. I've been saying for weeks now, I've even published an opinion piece on Prime Media Plus that South Africa has to stand firm against President Donald Trump or face being micromanaged or bullied for the next 4 years. There are different things that the US doesn't agree with us on. And we have to decide if we draw the line in the sand and stand firm or we give in. I do not think any of this hostility from President Donald Trump is actually about the Afrikaner group in South Africa. I'm not convinced. I don't think he cares to that extent. I think he's using the Afrikaner community as a pawn. He's using the in senior management positions, which is fine. No one says white people must not be in the top positions. No one says they must be at the bottom. No. But we are a country that embraces equality. A country that wants to see both black and white South Africans with equal opportunities. And for us to get there, for us to even start talking about equal opportunities and to realize it, we need policies that address the injustices of the past. We need to be deliberate about opening the door for the previously disadvantaged. Otherwise, the status quo remains. But the fact that we have some people in this country that lack the nuance and understanding of our history and context and how that has shaped how life is today for all of us is wild. I think you are choosing not to understand that. It's not difficult. In my macroeconomics class, we've been talking about inclusive growth. What are the factors that lead to a country's economic growth? And inclusion plays a big part. And we need to get as many people as possible to participate in the economy. And that's not currently the case. And that's part of the reason why our economy is sluggish. That's part of the reason for the high levels of inequality. That's why South Africa is one of the highest Gini coefficient in the world. We cannot be okay with a country that still has such high levels of inequality between black and white people. And yes, some white people, when you want to equalize something, that's oppression to them. Because when you are accustomed to privilege, what's that saying? When you are accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. But we need that equality. It's paramount. And that is going to come with us implementing policies that drive us towards that equality. That's what our constitution calls on us to do. That's why in the preamble, it says, we, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is, leave if you really want to leave. But this is your country too. So exercise some care or consideration about your fellow countrymen and women who were oppressed during a system that privileged you. And since that system was abolished, it still privileges you in many ways. Many have progressed, yes, black people, but equally so, many have struggled because the odds are still against them still. And that's because of that system that privileged you. So I'll repeat what I said. I don't think this hostility and what we're dealing with Donald Trump now is actually because he cares about the Afrikaner group in South Africa. I don't think he cares. I think he's using the Afrikaner community as a pawn. He's using the community as a negotiating tool because they want to force our hand on a number of issues. Issues that are important globally, that may even involve our foreign policy. And we need to be cautious, not to be sent down the dug hole of being divided along racial lines. Just like with Bell Pottinger. Remember Bell Pottinger? We should be cautious. Donald Trump wants to divide us along racial lines. There are Afrikaners who love this country, who are committed to this country, who don't want to be Trump's refugees. And that's not to say they don't have concerns. They do, like all of us. But they are committed to this country. But then you have others who don't want to stay, who don't want to see black people being given opportunities that they have historically enjoyed with no competition from other black people. They want South Africa to continue with its low social mobility among black people. Well, then those are the ones that can leave because they don't believe in a South Africa for all. They don't believe in equality for all. They want to continue with privilege while their black counterparts struggle.